Today, I want to talk about one of the biggest things that I think I've talked about yet. This has been on my mind, and I feel like this is one of the most important topics that I've ever talked about. And it's really a secret. It's really a secret. But look, so boredom. Let's talk about boredom. Now, boredom is something we're all super familiar with and kind of all afraid of. In this age of social media and content creation and optimization for every little thing that we might want, it's so easy to avoid boredom. And I think boredom is the actual thing that you're looking for. Boredom is what you're looking for. And when I say that, you know, it's kind of a really deep thing to think about, but I want you guys to really put this in perspective. Every time you start to do something that's hard, that requires a lot of focus or requires a lot of attention, it's very easy for your mind to drift off. This doesn't mean you have ADHD or whatever the case may be. Don't believe that crap. I think it's really just about your mind trying to release pressure, right? Pressure or stress in the instant moment. And I guess that could come back to instant gratification, but the main thing is that your mind is trying to do is kind of trying to shield you from like not doing good because you might not understand. Or you might not, be feeling it in a moment, or your mind just starts to think about other things. Boredom is so important. Boredom is like meditation without actually meditating. And I say that because that instant amount of focus that you get when you're bored, the amount of focus you can have when you're bored is a lot like when you're meditating. I recently have been meditating, and I've recently been trying to learn a lot about music theory and making beats and guitar tabs, boards, and learning every single thing. It's a lot of self-taught material and everything kind of bunched up in one, and I catch myself being very, very bored. Even though this is something that I love, right, and I'm super interested in, read on all the time, I'll be learning about intervals and octaves and I don't know, like plugins, VSTs, and all this different stuff, and I get bored. But when I get bored, I tend to like hop on my phone and look at TikTok or, you know, like just go down the rabbit hole of YouTube recommendations and stuff like that. And I think that's not almost the problem, but it's more the actual answer. And the answer is an answer we're not gonna like, but the answer is to be bored. The answer is to be bored. And the reason I say that is because when you're bored, you can focus, right? But when you're not bored, when you're constantly entertained, it keeps you at a distance from the things that you really want. But everything that you really want is going to require a lot of boredom. Boredom is the key to a lot of the things that you want. Boredom is the answer to a lot of your problems. Now, why do you think I say that? Interestingly enough, every single thing that anybody would want to be or inspire to be, right, takes a lot of boredom. It takes a lot of boredom. What do you think I mean by that? If you want to be an actor, you got to read a bunch of scripts, and that's boring. If you want to be a painter, you got to sit there and paint and watch paint dry. That's boring. If you want to be a basketball player, you got to shoot 1,000 shots a day at the same exact spot, the same exact way. That's boring. If you want to be a musician, you have to listen to your songs over and over and over again, learn all about different songs and all types of theory, and that's boring, right? Every field, even if you're not in a creative field, if you want to go, fully through your degree, there's countless hours of boredom to it. Countless hours of just studying and being bored, right? That's a bunch of that. But on the other side of everything that you want, boredom is in the middle. I want you guys to understand, if you want to get that great degree, if you want to graduate, with a high GPA, or if you want to play in the NFL, NBA, if you want people to listen to your music, if you want people to, watch your videos, it's going to take a lot of boredom. Bro. Boredom is the key. I think the problem is people cannot be bored. And our society has kind of conditioned us to cure boredom all the way. If you don't believe me, think about this. You're sitting in a line to get food at a restaurant, right? One person's behind you, two people in front of you, right? And it's a long line. If it's quiet in there, let's say there's no music playing, what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna check your phone. Not even just you, someone around you. One of those people in those four people will check their phone. Will be looking down at their phone, going left to right on it, and that shows you how, if we're bored, that's the only thing that we can think to do is go on our phone. The question is what do you do when you're bored? A lot of people message me and ask me yo, that's amazing, you know what you want to do. He's like, I'm creative, but I don't really know what I want to do, and I have all these passions and stuff like this. And I'm like, okay, be bored. That's my new answer, is be bored. Be bored, see what your instincts are. Go back to your instincts. What is instinctually something that you want to do or you care about? Because our phone kind of ironically brings us closer to everyone else, but takes us further away from our true self. I think that's the problem with entertainment and the phone, right? I obviously love the age that we live in, and this is the best time to pursue anything creatively. So that's a gift. But the phone could be a gift and a curse. And the key and the thing you really need is to be bored. When you're doing something, when you're pursuing one of your goals and you get bored, that's exactly what you want. You exactly want that. You want to be bored. You need to be bored. Boredom is the key to a lot of success. Think about it. Anybody who is fighting at a crazy high level world champion, they had to punch and throw kicks over and over, and hours of boring, mind-numbing conditioning. A YouTuber, hours of editing or researching and learning about a bunch of things that they might not even really like. But, obviously they have a goal. But most of our goals require us to elevate ourselves, and to elevate is to do things that you don't want to do. Yeah, you can't only elevate doing things you want to do, right? Trust me, any field that you do, any field that you want to be successful in, it doesn't have to be creative. It's going to require a large amount of boredom. Boredom is genuinely a secret. And when you feel bored that next time, stop for a second. Before you scroll on your phone, or go to a video or watch something else, recognize that you're doing it right. This is right. That boredom right there is key. It's key. You have to break through that. And the next time when you get bored, you're going to notice you might have got bored that first time. Within 15 minutes, you got bored. You recognized it. And the next time you come back, after you push through from that 15 minutes of getting bored, next time you come back, you get bored in 45 minutes. Now you have 30 more minutes of, unbothered work because of that repetition of breaking through the boredom line that we all have. Don't feel bad because you get bored doing something that you love. That doesn't mean that it's not worth it or it's not for you. It doesn't mean that. It actually means it's exactly for you. I think that's how our mind tricks us a little bit. It's very easy. Our minds, everything about us are super complex, and you have to know yourself first. And trust me, if you're getting bored, you're doing it right. Trust me. Yeah. But yeah, that's mainly it. So I want you guys to be more bored. Get bored. All right? Get bored.